Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare. He was wanted to go to the Olympics. He was a great discus thrower. He threw the discus, the shot put, and I even saw him throwing a hammer. He saw Marcus Allen, who reversed the field and ran something like 80 yards for a touchdown. And he said, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. So he started running, and then next thing you know, he was hitting people and bouncing off of people and running, and all of a sudden, it all came together for him in football.
And ladies and gentlemen, here to say a few words about his dear friend Christian Okoye is Dr. Terry Franson.
When Christian called me, maybe about a month ago and asked me to welcome him into the Hall of Fame, my jaw kind of dropped. And so the last month I've been reminiscing and thinking about a 35-year relationship. But you know how we really got here tonight? It started in a place called Enugu, Nigeria, with a praying mother. A mother who prayed for her son, sitting right over here, four-time Olympian, Innocent Egbunike, that when he came to the United States, she said, you will go to a Christian college. I get this blue airmail letter, and I read it about this guy who ran in the Moscow Olympics, and we invite him to come. That year, he beat Darrell Green in the 100 meters, and the list goes on and on. He tells me about a friend back home who his mother told him, when you get to this school, tell them about Christian. So he tells me about Christian, and lo and behold, it didn't take much to convince the president of the university that we need to give this guy, Christian Okoye, a scholarship, who was a young and upcoming discus thrower, weighing about 220 pounds or so. Came over, and the rest was history as far as track and field. African continent record holder, multiple national champion titles in the discus, the shot, the hammer. And it went on and on from there. There was no question in my mind that when the Olympics came to Los Angeles in 1984, that Christian would be on the Olympic team. Not just be on the team, but vie for a medal. About a month before the games, I'd meet with the Nigerian officials. I'd given them all the information. We're very sorry, Christian is not going to be in the Olympics. I then had to bring Christian that news. And you can imagine coming out of Africa, coming to America, this being his dream, being at the top of his game, probably to medal, what that had to be like. I was devastated, but nowhere devastated as much as he was. My wife and I took him to the Olympics in Los Angeles to watch Innocent win the first Olympic medal for Nigeria. We sat next to Christian. I watched him as tears rolled down his eyes as he realized his Olympic dream had fleeted away. That next week, he comes into my office and he says, "Coach, I want to play football." Now, you can imagine NAI High School, Azusa Pacific, having that guy walk around your campus. He's now, 250, and we all know at 260 he ran 4.4. I don't know if there's anybody in the NFL who's done that. And so I said, "Okay, why?" "I think I can make a living." And I said, "You're a soccer and a track guy." He goes, "No, Coach, I think I can make a living." I said, "Come on, we're going over to Coach Milhan's office." We walk around, we go into Coach Milhan's office. I said, "Coach Milhan," who's salivating like a dog, I said, "Christian has something he would like to talk with you about." And so Coach is, "Yeah, Christian, I think we can make that work." Yeah. Now you can imagine him learning football, not quite knowing how to put on the pads, lining up the wrong way, jumping off sides multiple times. We're playing against San Francisco State. We're getting our butts kicked. Christian's fumbling the ball, he can't catch, but we all know when he figures this thing out, look out. So I'm up in the booth, and Coach Milhan says, "We're just going to leave him in. If he fumbles 50 times, it's okay." He goes and rushes for about 150 yards in the second half, and the rest was history at APU. In his 3-year career, rushed for 3,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, got into the Senior Bowl, scored 4 touchdowns, which today is still a record. Got drafted. It was so amazing having the scouts come to our little campus, and they would look at him, and they've heard about this guy, this Nigerian guy, and they would look at their watches, and they would weigh him. And they'd look again, and they'd look at the other guy's watch. He was running 4.4, 260 pounds. He could take his leg and put it on his nose. That's how flexible he was. And as you saw, his thighs are bigger than his waist. That's crazy. I've never seen a person like that. But, and so drafted in the second round. But I love a quote. You probably, if you watched the Football Life thing, the quote by Deion Sanders sums it all up. So Christian, when he's with the Chiefs, can you imagine at our level what that was like? Coming around on a sweep, coming up field. And they asked Deion Sanders, "What was that like? What did you feel?" "I had a business decision to make." And you saw what he did there on the film. 2 times All-Pro, led the NFL in rushing in 1989. For the Kansas City Chiefs, nearly 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, AFC Player of the Year in 1989. And Eric, he didn't catch real well the year he led the NFL in rushing. How many passes did he catch? 2 passes the whole year. Not real good with the hands. Not real good with the hands. Oh, come on, man. That's not true. Now, we're talking about your character tonight, all right? This is all about telling the truth, buddy. In the Chiefs Hall of Fame, and now tonight to be inducted into the California Sports Hall of Fame. But it's the coolest thing. This guy comes out of Africa, a praying mother, sends her son to Azusa Pacific. Christian comes. We're all here tonight. It started on a woman's knees in a faraway land of Nigeria. He set a gold standard in the NFL for Nigerian players. There have been so many amazing NFL Nigerian players, and they all look back to the gold standard that was set by Christian Okoye. Yes, tremendous player, but his character is what they all talk about. Never has forgotten his roots. Coach Milhan's here, his late wife, Dottie, my wife's here as well, Nancy. Both times he made it to the Pro Bowl, he'd call us up and he'd say, I want you guys to come to the Pro Bowl. Paid for everything for us. We're Azusa Pacific. Never forgot about where he came from. Never forgot about his homeland of Nigeria. His community service is unparalleled. Impact a Hero, disabled veterans, kids camps. There isn't a time when we have asked him to do anything at the university, if he had any, opening in his schedule at all, that he would not do that. Whether it was speaking to a kindergarten class, sharing at an event with 5,000 high schools called the Night of Champions, but never ever said no. He is absolutely loved in the city of Kansas City and all around Los Angeles. So, yeah. And think with me on this one here, as we've all thought about Christian. And a lot of you are such amazing athletes. You've been in so many Hall of Fames. I know why you're here, because of what that man and what he represents and what he's trying to do with this California Sports Hall of Fame. My wife and I were talking just recently about some adjectives that describe the Nigerian nightmare, who really is a gentle giant. Humble, caring, fearless, determined, unstoppable, thoughtful, coachable, deep Christian faith, generous, grateful, devoted father. And I'll leave you with this one. I talked to Barry Word a little bit earlier, and Barry Word came all the way out from Washington, D.C. I said, Barry, why are you here? He goes, because it's Christian. I said, well, what is it about him? He's genuinely a great person. It is my honor to bring up Christian Okoye, the founder of the California Sports Hall of Fame, for induction in to this esteemed organization.
Thank you. Some of my friends, Leroy, where are you? He says, they're about time, yeah. Thank you. Eric said the same thing too. I'll tell you, I have great friends. Someone once told me, if you have friends, you have nothing to worry about. You're rich. So I'm truly blessed. I have a great family. Some of my friends came from very far to be here. John Olenchuk is over there. He came from Oakland, California. And of course, Bob Cliff and his wife, Sherry. Olenchuk and his wife, Joy, came down to see me. Barry Ward, as Coach said, is here. George Onyenwan, who's around track and field with him in Nigeria. Innocent Egwinike is here tonight, too. We've been friends for a very long time. And, the list goes on. Azusa Pacific, Coach Milhan, who actually gave me the background to play football when I was beginning, didn't know anything about the game. When I first went into his office, he asked me, he says, what position do you want to play? I didn't know anything about the game. Nothing. I didn't know any position at all, any positions. So I thought for a while, and I asked him, I said, I watched the news the other night, and I saw a guy run a long ways, and he scored a touchdown. He says Marcus Allen. And I said, what position was that? He said, running back. I said, that's what I want to do, So that's how I became a running back, Never played any other position. Throughout the time that I played football, I always prayed before games. My prayer was, I hope I don't get injured. God protect me and protect my teammates. Because football is a very violent game. I didn't grow up playing the game. So I'm going to tell you this short story. I went to Kansas City, of course, and because of my speed, Coach Frank Gans wanted me to return kicks, punts, and kickoffs. And I didn't want that. I didn't like that because I see these guys, man, they get hit so hard. Don't you agree? You know, yeah. So I every time they kick the ball to me, I'll drop it. You know, I'll drop. He says, "Get that guy out of there." You know, so I never played any special teams. Thank God. So when I was looking at the film tonight, and I saw what I did when I was playing, I remember. It just reminds me when I wake up in the morning how I feel every single morning because of that, you know. Because I didn't play the game the way a running back should play. The only reason is because I didn't know what I was doing. The objective was to move the ball. You know, any 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. You know, Coach Milhon told me that. He says, move the ball, move the chain. You see, so every time I touch the ball, I want to move the ball. If I had to go through you, I go through you. You see, so that's how I did that. But, you know, I'm very fortunate to be here tonight. You know, 10 years ago, after thinking about the Hall of Fame that I was inducted into in Missouri, I came back and I was thinking, if California had one, of course, just like Rosie Greer said, I called everybody. I talked to Eric, I talked to Marcus Allen, and I talked to Bill Walsh, Tommy Losoto, who was here earlier. And fortunately enough, I knew all these guys, and I talked to them, and they told me there was none. No California Sports Hall of Fame. So I asked them, if I start one, would you support? Of course, we'll support. So that's how we got started with this. And, you know, ideas are great. Ideas are great, but it takes other people to make that work. And all you guys in this room and all my friends are the ones that are helping to make this idea work the way it's working today. You know, so I'm very, very thankful for that. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And mine is being told tonight, and there's so many branches to it. I have my family here too, who always support me. Emmanuel, who's he does some of the graphics that we use with the California Sports Hall of Fame, all the inductees. He's the one that does all the screens, the pictures that you see before the video starts. My brother does that. He volunteers. So thank you, Emmanuel. And then I have my two sisters here. Emmanuel's daughter is also here. Obi and Benedine is here. My high school friend, Adolphus Onua, very long time friend, is here tonight. So thank you, Adolphus, for being here. Barry Ward, thank you for being here from all the way from Virginia. Again, I'd like to thank all of you guys who are supporting the California Sports Hall of Fame. Morongo again, Siba, Loma Linda, who also come back every year to support the California Sports Hall of Fame. I thank you, and many other companies that support us. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.